In one of the channel videos, I talked about high-level moments in soccer, but in this video, I want to show the complete opposite. These are episodes where players made such foolish decisions that, despite the blunder, any viewer would be left completely shocked. Before the whistle blows, I'm asking for a big goal from you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to join our fan base, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any breathtaking moments. Let's build the strongest team on YouTube together. It's the 86th minute and Sunderland is losing to West Ham. The visitors then had a chance to equalize. The ball reaches Wabi Khazri, but instead of a simple cross into the box, he decides to get fancy and tries a backheel flick, only for the ball to go out of bounds without even touching him. The incident even made the opposing team's defender laugh. In the end, West Ham held onto their lead and took all 3 points. Sometimes it's better to play it simple to avoid these slip-ups. Now let's move on to Thibaut Courtois, who decided to show off, probably at the worst possible moment. After receiving a pass from a teammate while under pressure, instead of clearing the ball out of the box, the Belgian decided to imitate Neuer. Courtois' slow reaction led him to kick the ball right to a Hull City player, and it ended up perfectly at the feet of Hernandez, who calmly sent it into Courtois' net. And the next genius on the list is Wilfred Ndidi. In the 61st minute, with his team already losing 2-0, the Nigerian midfielder seemed to think he needed to level the playing field somehow. During an attack, Ndidi entered the box and immediately fell to the ground. Although the replay shows there was some contact between the Crystal Palace defender and the Nigerian's leg, Ndidi realized way too late that he needed to go down, making the whole thing look very unnatural. But why did this incident make it into the video? The thing is, at that moment, Wilfred already had a yellow card. Naturally, the referee, who was just a few meters away, spotted the dive and gave Ndidi a second yellow, which automatically turned into a red card. In the end, Leicester didn't get the penalty. They were left a man down, and they lost the match 3-0. Still, penalties like that only seem to get awarded in the semifinals of the Euros. Phil Jones is truly a walking meme. I think everyone has seen his facial expressions during any given play, but his career has also had plenty of awkward moments. In a match against Newcastle, Jones needed to clear a threat near the goal. He managed to connect with the ball, but instead of heading it to a teammate, he sent it into his own net. The replay shows that he simply misjudged the trajectory, hitting the ball awkwardly, causing it to ricochet off his leg and into the goal. And in a game against Valencia, Jones delivered another standout performance, though not in a good way. In the 47th minute, he tried to dispossess an opponent, but didn't realize that the goalkeeper had already left his area, resulting in the ball rolling into the net. This is one of the most critical moments in the quarterfinals of a Champions League. With the score at 2-1 for Lyon, Manchester City was pushing hard to equalize. In the 86th minute, the French defenders lost track of Sterling, leaving him alone in front of an open goal. But from just 2 meters out, Raheem somehow managed to send the ball over the crossbar. Pep Guardiola simply couldn't believe what he was seeing. This moment proved decisive, as a few minutes later, Lyon scored a third goal, sealing their spot in the semifinals and knocking City out of the competition. The most hilarious and bizarre moment happened before a match between Manchester City and Dynamo Kyiv. Mario Balotelli was caught on TV struggling to put on his training bib properly. The Italian kept twisting and turning, trying to figure out how to wear the simple piece of sportswear, looking as if he needed to read a manual first. Eventually, Balotelli only managed to get it on with the help of an assistant. To make matters worse, City's coach, Roberto Mancini, immediately told him to switch the white bib for a blue one, as he was being moved to a different training group. Yet again, Balotelli struggled and had to ask for help to put on the new bib. In a 2021 match between Wolverhampton and Liverpool, Portuguese forward Diogo Jota made a questionable decision during the game. A mix-up between Wolves players left Jota with a clear chance at an open goal, even though there were 2 defenders on the goal line. Jota seemed certain to score, but instead struck the ball straight at Connor Cody. To add to the confusion, Sadio Mane was right next to him and could have easily received a pass. Jota's decision left many puzzled. Was it possible that he didn't want to score against his former club? During the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, Italy faced Spain. With half an hour left in the match and Italy trailing 1-0, the coach decided to substitute Graziano Pellè to strengthen the attack. Pellè didn't take the decision well. As he left the field, he intentionally refused to shake the coach's hand. This foolish act proved to be costly, as the Italian national team coach, Gian Piero Ventura, was so angry that he kicked Pellè off the squad the very next day. Although Pellè later apologized for his behavior, it was too late. From that moment on, he was never called up to the national team for 5 years. This was despite the fact that just 6 months earlier, Pellè had been Italy's top scorer in the European Championship, scoring crucial goals against Belgium and Spain. Ultimately, this rash decision cost Pellè his place on the national team. In the 99th minute, Borussia Dortmund earned a corner kick. Naturally, their goalkeeper rushed into the box since the score was 3-2 in favor of Bayern Munich at that moment. After the corner was taken, Bayern intercepted the ball and quickly countered toward Dortmund's empty goal. Corentin Tolisso glanced several times at Alphonso Davies, who was sprinting down the middle, but the Frenchman decided to take a shot from midfield about 45 meters out and missed. After 100 minutes of play, fatigue clearly set in. If Tolisso had passed to the speedy Davies, Bayern likely would have sealed the game, as Dortmund still had a minute left for a counterattack. In this case, not only the player, but also the fans can be considered foolish. The game was for the lead. With 30 minutes remaining, the score tied at 0-0, and suddenly International's defender Fabrizio lost his temper. The player became frustrated with the boos and unpleasant shouts from the stands, and started making offensive gestures toward his own club supporters, which led to his immediate ejection from the game. But Fabrizio didn't calm down. He continued arguing and demonstratively threw his shirt on the ground. Immediately after the incident, Fabrizio was removed from the team, and the club president declared that after such behavior, the player could no longer continue playing for International. They then found him a new club. Regensburg's goalkeeper, Philippe Pentke, decided to take a goal kick on his own near the center circle. He kicked the ball hard, but it hit the back of Boschung's forward, deflecting it towards Regensburg's empty goal. Regensburg's Lucas Hinterseer took advantage of the goalkeeper's mistake, running to the ball and calmly pushing it into the opponent's net. However, this was not just a silly mistake by the goalkeeper. As we can see, the goal scorer was offside, and the player who deflected the ball was not at the proper distance and deliberately moved his body at the moment of the goalkeeper's kick. So the entire officiating team demonstrated its incompetence by failing to notice 2 serious rule violations. This lapse was evident from the Boschung player's side. This moment is almost amusing to comment on, as 3 players stood out for their lack of skill. In the Asian Champions League, an unusual and unique incident occurred. When a player from the home team scored a penalty in the most unconventional way, Al-Ahly's defender, Salman Khamis, decided on his own that the ball had crossed the goal line and picked it up with his hands to give it to his goalkeeper. However, since the linesman hadn't signaled the ball out of play, the referee immediately awarded a penalty for this action. Fortunately for the clumsy defender, the opponents failed to convert the penalty. Do you think the ball crossed the line or not? Alright everyone, that's it for today's video if you watched until the end. Please comment on what you thought of the video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to support our work. That's it, and see you next time.